Lori Gray, Mind Map for Lecture 1. In the center of my mind map, you'll see that I've chosen a photo showing the brain processes associated with reading knowledge base. Many colors represent the main changes that have happened over the 20th and 21st century, mostly based on the research of the following people listed in the mind map. You'll see I began 1900s focus was on the appreciation of literature, leading into the idea that spelling was very important and the teacher role essential. Also, silent reading was important. Later, we fall into letter-sound relationships, phonemic awareness, and then in 1930, the basal text was really the push, which was totally reader-dependent. Reader interest was not emphasized at all, which now we have a change in our thinking about that. The 40s were controlled texts and mostly oral reading. That line stops because then we go into a whole new thought of in the 1950s where students were guessing, and that led to a more systematic approach to phonics and teaching of phonics. Later you see the 1960s where the writing demands greatly increased. We have our researcher child who emphasized sight first, silent reading, and interest as essentials. Goodman's research came into play here, and his cueing system became common practice. Goodman comes over into the 1970s, where the theory of whole language, student-centered, and natural teachable moments in the teaching of reading and acquisition of language. That also carries over into the 1980s, where whole language and phonics were combined to create Cunningham's balanced approach. The 1990s were a real time for reading wars, the war's end, and research supports a balanced approach. Leading into, we see our balanced approach here, leading into the Reading Excellence Program, 1999, which focused on family-centered literacy and all readers reading by the third grade, early intervention, and it was completely based on research. This was important to me, the early intervention portion, as I'm a special educator. Later, we go up into the International Reading Association's research and the idea of No Child Left Behind in 2002, which really led to a focus on accountability. All of this combined brings us to where we are now, which is the Common Core, which emphasizes readiness, preparedness for college, and workplace readiness, while incorporating career, specifically speaking, listening, writing, and reading. Also, our standards that incorporate technology. All of these ideas, as you can see, come from the early research. The lines connecting the yellow are common threads, which bring us to where we are today.